How does a ship disappear on a sea that isn't moving? No wind, no waves, no moon. Just a black Atlantic stretched flat to the horizon. Shortly before midnight, RMS Titanic moves west toward New York. Lights glowing, engines steady. More than 2,000 people asleep inside. At 11:40 p.m., something brushes the hull. Not an explosion, not a crash, just a long, quiet scrape. Within 3 hours, the brightest ship on the ocean will be gone. This is the story of RMS Titanic. April 14th, 1912. 4 days into her maiden voyage, Titanic is deep in the North Atlantic, hundreds of miles from land. Southampton is behind her, New York lies ahead. On board are roughly 2,200 people, passengers and crew, spread across decks of dining rooms, corridors, cabins, and boiler spaces. The night is unusually calm. The sea is almost glass. No swell, no wind, no foam breaking against the hull. Above, the sky is clear and star filled, but moonless. The horizon disappears into darkness. Inside, the ship feels ordinary. First class passengers linger over cards and conversation. Stewards clear late dinners. Third class families settle children into bunks. Wireless operators send routine messages. Below, engines pulse with a steady, familiar rhythm. Titanic moves at near service speed, confident, on schedule. Ice warnings have come throughout the day, but to most aboard, there is nothing to see, nothing to hear, nothing to suggest danger. Only a vast, silent ocean, and a ship that feels unsinkable. 11:39 p.m. In the crow's nest, two lookouts scan the darkness. No binoculars, only eyes adjusting to the cold air. Ahead, a shape, darker than the sky, an outline where stars should be. Iceberg! Right ahead! The warning reaches the bridge. Hard to port. Engines reversed. The bow begins to swing, but not fast enough. 11:40 p.m. Along the starboard side, ice scrapes steel. A long grinding vibration. Passengers barely feel it. Some compare it to gravel under a train. Then it's over. No dramatic jolt, no visible damage. The ship continues forward. For a moment, nothing seems wrong. Below decks, though, water is already entering the forward compartments. 5 sections. More than the ship was designed to survive. Midnight. Damage reports reach the bridge. The conclusion spreads quietly among the officers. She will sink. Distress signals begin. CQD, then SOS. Passengers are told to put on life jackets, to come on deck as a precaution. 12:45 a.m. The first lifeboat lowers away, only partially filled. Many hesitate to leave a ship that still feels warm, bright, and stable. From the decks, the ocean looks harmless, flat, empty, black. It does not look like something that can kill. More boats follow, slowly, too slowly. There are lifeboats for barely half the people aboard. The bow continues to settle. Walking forward now feels slightly downhill. Small things begin to slide: chairs, glasses, loose shoes. Water creeps from deck to deck. Inside, the change is gradual, almost polite, until it isn't. After 1:30 am, the change becomes visible. The slope is slight at first, so slight that many don't notice it. A glass left on a table begins to slide. Boot steps feel uneven. Doors that once swung freely now drift half closed on their hinges. The floor is no longer level. It is gently, steadily falling away. From deep inside the hull come unfamiliar sounds, low metallic groans, rivet pops like distant gunshots, the long strain of steel under pressure. Not loud, just constant. A language the ship was never meant to speak. Steam releases from the funnels in thick white clouds, hissing upward into the night air. The decks are still brightly lit, almost cheerful. Electric lights spilling across polished railings as if nothing is wrong. Somewhere, the band continues playing. People move calmly toward the stern, carrying blankets, holding children, stepping around coils of rope and deck chairs. No one runs. The ocean still looks harmless, black, flat, silent. Then the cold deepens. Breath fogs in the air. Hands stiffen on the railings. The bow sinks lower. Water slips across the forward decks and disappears inside open doors. 2:17 am. The lights flicker once, twice, then everything goes dark. No gradual fade, just absence. For a moment there is only starlight and the shape of the ship against the sky. The stern lifts higher, angling toward the stars. Metal screams. The hull fractures with a deep rolling thunder, and then the ship slides forward and vanishes beneath the surface. Where it stood seconds before, there is only open water, and hundreds of voices in it. The sea takes the heat from their bodies instantly. Then fuel cries, then none. Within minutes, the Atlantic is quiet again, flat, as if nothing had disturbed it at all. When the last sounds fade, the lifeboats remain, 20 small shapes scattered across a wide black ocean. Wooden hulls creaking softly, oars resting idle. Inside them, survivors sit shoulder to shoulder, wrapped in coats and blankets, watching the place where the lights disappeared. No one speaks much. There is nothing left to say. Bits of wreckage drift between the boats. Deck chairs, planks, cork life jackets, small personal things that no longer belong to anyone. The water is empty now. The cries lasted only minutes. Then the cold finished what the sinking began. Nearly 58 miles away, RMS Carpathia changes course. Her engines push harder than they were built to. 17 knots through an ice field. Wireless operators keep listening. Coordinates repeated again and again. Through the night, she races toward a position that no longer holds a ship. Just before dawn, shapes appear on the horizon. Icebergs. Tall and pale in the early light. Then lifeboats. One by one, small, still, overloaded. Coal passengers are lifted aboard by rope ladders and cargo nets. Some cannot stand. Some cannot speak. Some do not know who else survived. By mid-morning, the counting begins. Names checked, cabins called, decks searched. Roughly 700 live, more than 1,500 do not. Later, inquiries search for a single catastrophic error. They find none. Instead, a chain of smaller ones. Too few lifeboats, outdated regulations, incomplete drills, wireless messages delayed, speed maintained through known ice. Each decision ordinary, together irreversible. Numbers and reports explain the mechanics, but they cannot explain the silence that followed. Some disasters arrive violently: a fire, an explosion, a storm that tears everything apart at once. Titanic was not that kind of disaster. There was no towering wave, no lightning, no visible enemy on the horizon. Only a calm sea and a night so still it reflected the stars. The danger was almost invisible: a darker shape in darker water, a brief scrape against steel, then time. Time for reports to travel the corridors, time for passengers to wake slowly, time for lifeboats to lower one by one. Nothing felt urgent enough until it was too late to matter. The tragedy wasn't a single moment, it was a sequence of quiet assumptions: that the ship was strong enough, that the night was clear enough, that there would always be time to react. Design choices, procedures, habits. Small, reasonable decisions layered over years. Together, they built a ship that would cross an ocean, but not survive one unseen edge of ice. By morning, the Atlantic looks unchanged. The same flat water, the same empty horizon. Ships pass through the area every day now, without knowing exactly where the hull rests below. Nearly 4 kilometers down, steel settles into darkness, slowly returning to rust. A shape preserved by cold and pressure. A memory the surface no longer shows. On the water above, nothing remains. No smoke, no debris, no mark. Only distance, only silence. Between what was and what remains, there lies the liminal.